Hello everyone, this is Turin here, and welcome to another entry in our Community Cast series. In this game, we're going to have a showdown between the Greenskins, who are going to be piloted by Commander Riker of the USS Enterprise, and they're going to be facing off against Bretonnia, who's going to be helmed by Animar. Looks like we do have two Grail Reliquaries, as well as some Knights of the Realm, so guys, definitely some fun stuff coming your way. So let's go ahead and take a look first at the Greenskin army composition. So in the front line, he does have mostly Black Orcs. So Black Orcs actually aren't bad against Bretonnia, and they wouldn't seem like an intuitive pick because the Bretonnian Infantry Corps is fairly lightly armored, but still, they have 110 armor. So against Battle Pilgrims, which are one of the more common pick against Greenskins, these guys will be very durable with their 110 armor, so the Pilgrims will really struggle at getting through their defenses, even though their melee defense is quite low. But still, that 110 armor is very, very substantial. And against Foot Squires, which also you'll see at least a few pairs of in this matchup, the Black Orcs will do well against those guys. He does also have the Crimson Killers over here. So these guys with their splash damage actually aren't bad at like tearing through big mobs of peasants. So I'm excited to see how these guys do over the course of this battle. But an entire front line of Black Orcs, which will kind of cut into the rest of your units, because when Black Orcs are so expensive that you're really not going to have like a ton of utility units in the back, and you're also going to have a very small Cav core. In the back, he does have some Savage Orc Arrow Boys, so these guys are pretty cool against Bretonnia. Granted, they will get rode down pretty hard by Bretonnian Cav if you're not careful, because their defensive stats are pitiful. They actually, is that the lowest melee defense? They only have 8 melee defense. That's so incredibly low, but these guys hit like trucks. They actually have 38 weapon strength in melee, so for example, if some Battle Pilgrims get through the front line and are able to get back on these guys, they'll definitely have a bit of a rough time, more so than they would against, Goblin missiles. He does also have the Rusty Arrows here, and on top of that, he does have some more Savage Orc Arrow Boys. For his leadership, he does have the mighty GRIMGOR Ironhide, 2 Goblin Big Bosses, and I think he has some sort of lore magic. I'm not sure if he does. Maybe he decided to cut corners a little bit, but maybe at least a Goblin hiding somewhere. But anyways, if we do come across him over the course of the battle, I will point that out. He does have some Orc Boar Boy Biggins here, which are, decent against Bretonnia. The one situation where they do struggle is against Bretonnian Royal Pegasus Knights. So Royal Pegasus Knights can kind of just fly above these guys and get a really good rear charge, and their defensive stats are quite low with only 18 melee defense, so they can get crushed pretty hard by Pegasus Knights. But against like Knights of the Realm and things like that, they're not a bad pick at all. So for the Bretonnian forces, let's go ahead and jump over here. So a very wide army compared to the Greenskin player, an entire front line of Battle Pilgrims, probably anticipating some Savage Orcs and things like that, which seem to be a bit more of a common pick against Bretonnia. So I definitely like the fact that the Greenskin player mixed that up. He does have some Paladins on foot, which I actually really like this as well. It gives you that real solid anchor, high weapon strength of 390, which I guess quote-unquote high compared to like regular infantry, but still it'll help it working through those Black Orcs. He does have the Grail Reliquary, and in the back he does have a bunch of Spearmen at Arms, which he's obviously going to use as an auxiliary unit. So for example, if his Cav are losing in the back, he can pull some Spearmen to kind of help defend those guys. He does have the Fey Enchantress, of course, and I think, let's see what abilities. So she has the Earthblood, she also has the Chalice of Potions, and it looks like that's it. So just one ability there. Another Grail Reliquary, because he does have a very wide army, so I can kind of see the logic in getting 2 Grail Reliquaries there. In the back, he does have some Knights of the Realm and more Knights of the Realm, so no Elite Cav or anything, and he does also have some deep Vanguard, so Mounted Yeomen over here, and then he also does have some Mounted Yeomen on the far side. So guys, without further ado, let's let the games begin. So neither player really have siege or artillery pieces, so for the sake of your guys' entertainment, I will fast forward this game just a little bit while they posture up. So the Greenskin forces are going to be over here a little bit closer to the high ground, but again, they both kind of agreed to deploy in the low ground and have their epic cockfight down here. But firstly, the first blood is going to be drawn over here with the Knights of the Realm, who are going to be engaging against the Orc Boars, and I'm actually excited to see how this build goes. But the Knights of the Realm do have anti-large and do very well, so I think that in a straight fight, I feel like Knights of the Realm would win one-on-one, but I could be wrong because the armor piercing and anti-large of the Orc Boars is pretty good, and I think Orc Boars still do have 50 armor, so it's going to be a little bit tough to say. But again, there's so many variables here. It looks like the 2 Orc Boars did get a great charge, but then that second group of Knights of the Realm does come in, but it looks like the Knights of the Realm are taking a little bit more damage than those Orc Boars. Granted, it's 26 models to 30 or 27, so it's very, very even here on the far side. In the middle, the Black Orcs are going to engage. You can see the Arrow Boys are starting to pepper on some of those lightly armored units in the back, but the Battle Pilgrims and the Crimson Killers are coming in pretty hot across the entire front line. You can also see this Paladin. He's got a sword out. Definitely, what is that called for any of you guys that are familiar with lore? The Virtue of Empathy, I think, when the Paladins like run on the ground here. But you can see these Battle Pilgrims, even though like Black Orcs are meant against armored units, they're down to 74 models, and they've done almost no damage to the armor of those Black Orcs. So I really do like that Black Orc kind of mind game pick here. And the Crimson Killers over here are engaged, and with their splash damage, they'll definitely cut up these Foot Squires pretty efficiently, but they do come in a low model count. So the Foot Squires will still, trade pretty efficiently, and you can see that they've already taken, a bit of damage, but the mighty GRIMGOR is running in here with his Goblin Big Boss. He's going to get in and definitely crush some skulls right here, but I was about to say he's going to take some skulls for the Skull Throne, but I suppose any skulls in the fantasy universe kind of serve that dual purpose. So over here in the back, you can see these Mounted Yeomen are going to get a bit of a charge here, and look at that guy. He just got messed up with his 8 melee defense. These Mounted Yeomen definitely being some heroes of the lady, getting in there, getting a good little charge, kind of pushing these guys back, but as soon as these guys get their melee weapons out and turn and fight, these Mounted Mounted Yeomen are going to get annihilated if they stay and fight in melee. Even with that 8 melee defense, these Savage Orcs hit very hard. You can already see that the Mounted Yeomen are starting to go down, lose a few models, though they did some great shock damage to those Savage Orcs, so they definitely should have pulled out like immediately there. That's what she said, but still, I would have advised that. But they're going to just get cut to pieces here in sustained combat. So definitely some cool tricks there, but the Rusty Arrows do also get jumped by those Vanguard Mounted Yeomen. And it looks like the Orc Boars on the far side did lose, and the Knights of the Realm have penetrated the back line. So the entire Orc missile line is just going to be absolutely ravaged right now, because the Savage Orcs are not going to perform very well against Knights of the Realm, because they don't have like great armor piercing, and their low melee defense of only 8, which is just shocking to me. I actually never noticed how poor that was, but normally, you know, people use them against zombies to kind of like beat back undead zombie summons. But over here, it looks like the Savage Orcs were able to kind of destroy these Mounted Yeomen, but the Yeomen did pretty good, taking them down to about, you know, half health and actually shaking them, which is pretty crazy. In the front, you can see the Black Orcs are actually cleaning up shop. Grimgor and the boys here on the far side were able to just absolutely annihilate those Battle Pilgrims. So like I was saying, the armor is just too much for these guys to handle. Over here, the Knights of the Realm did get a good little rear charge and kind of sandwich these guys a little bit, but let's see what their health is like. So 44, it looks like these Spearmen at Arms are about to crumble, and the Knights of the Realm are even taking some damage from these Black Orcs, but a very, very healthy group of the Knights of the Realm are going to be coming over here. It looks like there's also an Earthblood going down. That must be an Earthblood, yeah, it's being casted here. And I think these Knights of the Realm are about to get a pretty substantial charge into the back of these guys, which will hopefully turn the tide. Over on the far side, it looks to be going a little bit better, but a very lackluster charge. I was going to zoom in and slow-mo that for you guys, but it didn't look very impressive coming in there. But the Fey Enchantress back here helping out, but she is getting surrounded a little bit, and this is not where she wants to be. These Savage Orcs and these Orc Boars will do pretty well against her, because she's very squishy against melee attacks. Though she hasn't taken too much damage, you can see the Knights of the Realm are coming in to help out, and her Mortis Engine effect will also be very good. Oh, she just did like a dual thing. She like put both arms out and like blasted 2 Orcs at once. That was kind of cool. But the Bretonnian infantry are doing a little bit better over here on this part of the battlefield. You can see the Battle Pilgrims actually having, I was about to say, for some reason I thought they racked up more, but only 7 kills. But again, they are fighting Black Orcs. But the Black Orcs are shaken. Over here, this Paladin doing a pretty good job, having racked up 19 kills against Black Orcs. He's in here fighting in the pocket, but the Black Orcs might be able to get through this guy's defenses. You know, let's see what he's at right now. So yeah, he's at about 1,000 HP. The Black Orcs are about 2,500, so they should be able to beat him with their heavy armor piercing. But the Fey Enchantress and her somewhat tattered Knights of the Realm in the back are able to do pretty good work against those Savage Orc Arrow Boys, but still, they're very, you know, durable. Again, they are kind of a bit of a hybrid range / melee unit, so serving that dual purpose there pretty efficiently. But the Fey Enchantress does get a nice Earthblood, and of course, her Perpetual Draining is doing well. Crimson Kill is racking up 140 kills, which is just insane. So that splash attack is doing very good. And if I'm not mistaken, I think regular Black Orcs do beat the Crimson Killers one-on-one, but where Crimson Killers do shine is with their splash attacks against large density units. So they kind of have the strength of Black Orcs against armored units, but against like mobs of like low tier units, they're going to perform much better than Black Orcs will. So you can see they're kind of chopping these guys down. Over here on the far side, it looks like Grimgor and his goons are coming over with 44 Black Orcs who are confident. They're tired, and these ones are very tired, but not exhausted yet. This actually looks to be the one point on the battlefield where the Bretonnian forces have done pretty well for themselves. The Knights of the Realm and these Battle Pilgrims are finally getting through this heavy armor of these Black Orcs, but you can see piles and piles of just dead Battle Pilgrims here, so definitely a testament to the true grit of these Black Orcs. And man, that is a great movie. For any of you guys that haven't seen it, True Grit with Jeff Bridges. The original one with the Duke, with you know, the Duke as they say, is pretty good as well, but I definitely like the remake quite a bit more. So. But yeah, man, that final scene with Marshal Cogburn where he like rides down all those guys in the field is so awesome. But anyways, it looks like the Black Orcs here are doing a pretty good job. They do have this Grail Reliquary surrounded, and Grimgor is not going to let this thing out of his sights. And definitely one of the recipes for destroying Bretonnia is killing their Grail Reliquaries, because it just keeps those infantry fighting forever. But let's go ahead and take an overarching look at the battlefield, guys. So it looks like we do have 111 troops for the Greenskins to the 166 of Bretonnia. So Bretonnia is going to be kind of reunifying their forces, kind of chasing down this Goblin Big Boss over here, and just getting everyone like refocused, because if they can hold and that Fey Enchantress can keep that drain strong and going heavy, then they'll probably be able to pull out some sort of a good situation here, because these Black Orcs are pretty tattered for the most part. But you can see these Orc Boars getting a great charge right here, actually wavering this Grail Reliquary, and it looks like it is broken, so thing's probably not going to get away, because I think it is considered a large unit. But a little bit of friendly fire coming from the Savage Orcs is probably going to kill more of the Orc Boars than it is going to do damage to that Grail Reliquary. But hopefully they will be able to kind of finish that off. So right now, both forces just kind of getting their ranks together, and this is always like the most epic circumstance for these type of battles, when like both armies are tattered, but they reform ranks at the end for just like one final showdown, which is just so awesome. So the Fey Enchantress, though, unfortunately for the Greenskins, is in pretty good health. Grimgor is also in perfect health. He does have a lot of healthy Black Orcs, and does he still have the Crimson Killers, who 157 kills. So it looks like these Knights of the Realm are preparing for a bit of a Rohirrim charge. You can see Grimgor and the boys are just getting in here, and guys, we're going to have a great last stand here. But the Fae, the Mist of the Lady, is very strong in these type of situations, and you know, the troop quality of Bretonnia is very, very poor, and Grimgor is also probably going to get a Wa, and it looks like the boys also do get a bit of a charge here, but the Knights get a charge there at the last second, which is going to be helpful. But man, this is just going to be a tooth and nail fight just to the bitter end here. So in the back, you can also see these peasants and other troops are coming in, and a nice Chalice of Potions is going to come in and do some heavy damage. So you guys can see, let's go ahead and zoom up. Yeah, you can see, I think the skies open up, and I've never actually like showcased that in the battles, but the sky opens up and does some massive burst damage, just destroying a bunch of those orcs. But you can see Grimgor getting some decent attacks. Granted, it didn't do heavy damage to the Fae Enchantress, but it did kind of fend her off and scare her away from the main battle. But the Black Orcs and the guys are doing some great work in here, just kind of cutting through these Bretonnian troops who just don't have that punch, because Knights of the Realm are good shock cav for their cost, but they're not good in steady combat like this. So the Black Orcs are obviously, that's their specialty, is steady, just grinding gears, just getting in there and just crushing units. So, you know, Grimgor is, he must have racked up quite a few kills, only 43, but again, he isn't like quick, and it's only one unit. So if he's able to get on the Fae Enchantress, that's going to be pretty good. But you can see all of the Bretonnian forces are basically shattered at this point, but there is still a Grail Reliquary over here. But basically, it's the Goblin Big Boss, Grimgor Ironhide, and he does actually have Gitsnick, so his weapon strength right now is 554. He has 2 Black Orcs here, but that's pretty much it. And for Bretonnia, I think he just has the Grail Reliquary and the Fae Enchantress, so the balance of power is still incredibly even. So guys, I know there's a little bit of a dancing around right here where the Fae Enchantress is kind of reunifying some of her troops, running over to them, making sure that they're back online here. So right now, he's getting his troops back on the hill here for yet another epic last stand, guys. So it looks like they are going to be charging in. You can see Grimgor is definitely taking his time, doesn't want to tire himself out too badly, but they are going to jump in here, and the Bretonnian forces are going to do one bit of a desperate last stand charge here. But the Fae Enchantress is going to be hard to kill for sure with that Unicorn. She can just kind of keep cycle charging a little bit. But every time she gets caught up like that, it's going to be tough. And I think she did use the Favor of the Fae on her Battle Pilgrims here. I probably would have wanted to use it on myself at this point. But she does have yet another Earthblood, which is pretty insane. So the Goblin Big Boss does have Slippery and the Wa active. And it looks like that Grail Reliquary is finally going to go down. Grimgor is definitely working on it. It's one of the only targets he can actually like sit and beat on here. But he keeps getting dazed by those Cab, which is so tough. And I hope someday they kind of change the AI of how like lords and infantry work when they're like being cycle charged by cav, because it can be very, very obnoxious. But anyways, the Knights charge in there. They do knock him over. Maybe just make him get up faster, because he laid there for like a good 3 seconds before he got up. But this Grail Reliquary does re-engage Grimgor, and he gets knocked over again by Knights of the Realm. So just kind of getting cycle charged, and the Greenskins don't really have anything left. I mean, it's literally Grimgor versus the world right now, but just look how giant he is. Oh, and he gets a huge whomping hit on some of those Battle Pilgrims over there. It looked like it was going after the Fae Enchantress, but I don't think it was. And he does actually take out that Grail Reliquary, I think. Oh no, it actually has 1 hit left, but that should do it. So he hits it one more time, and it looks like the Fae Enchantress is coming in with her Unicorn, definitely going to try and impale him a little bit, but it does daze him. So he didn't get knocked over, which is nice, and it looks like he does chop some of those Battle Pilgrims to pieces, but he really needs to kill this not Battle Pilgrim, but the Grail Reliquary, because these Pilgrims will pretty much waver and shatter at that point. So, man, he's just doing work. So, guys, we are here with the final showdown between the Fae Enchantress and the mighty Grimgor Ironhide. So, Grimgor is pretty low. Fae Enchantress, if she wants to have any chance of winning, is going to have to cycle charge, because these Knights of the Realm are simply going to waver due to army losses at this point, or just, you know, the fact that they have 5 models left. So we're going to go ahead and fast forward here, guys, and the final showdown is indeed here. So I think when those Knights of the Realm get close to Grimgor, they're probably going to just rout, because he's a big, scary unit. I think that does actually affect leadership when there's bigger and stronger units nearby. So guys, this is it. The final showdown for the fate of Middle-earth is here between Grimgor Ironhide and the Fae Enchantress, it would appear. So a little bit of cycle charging, guys. So I'm probably just going to fast forward, because it is a lot of cycle charging. So the Fae Enchantress, we can cue the Benny Hill music. So she's just charging in, just running in and out. But every time she charges in, you guys will notice here in a moment that she's just getting her Winds of Magic, probably trying to get some regeneration. But Grimgor just waddling. But she charges in, she gets hit. She's going to charge in, and she takes another hit. So Grimgor, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's his body mass, but every time she comes in with the cycle charge, she's taken an axe to the dome piece, which is awesome. But still, Grimgor is so low, guys, and it looks like the Fae Enchantress might come in for one more hit. I'm not sure, but Grimgor is still steady with 54 leadership compared to her 39. She pops Favor of the Fae, trying to get that melee attack, but she is not going to be able to trade blows with Grimgor. This is like what he was born to do, and he just gets in here and just showing her who's boss. She's shaken. She's got about one charge left in her, but look how low this is, guys. They're both just at like 1 HP almost. Grimgor, well, not literally, but 458 to her, let's see, yeah, probably about 300, but she actually breaks, so Grimgor is able to win the day. So what an epic community cast. Thank you so much, Commander Riker, for sending me that game. That was probably one of the best community casts we've had on here. That was close. It was an awesome showcase of some unusual builds, because although I really do like the Black Orcs against Bretonnia, because you do have to deal with Cav, so having that AP is nice, but you can be outmaneuvered, and the Fae Enchantress is very good at draining them down. But regardless, very well played to both Commander Riker and Animar. Hopefully I get a chance to play you guys on ladder, and guys, thanks again for watching. Got more content coming soon.